Karoline Leavitt made a remarkable claim about Social Security fraud. Let me remind you that Karoline Leavitt is Donald Trump's press secretary, typically seen wearing a novelty-sized cross on her neck, although not in this particular interview with Fox News that I'm about to play for you. In this interview, Karoline Leavitt says that thanks to Elon Musk, they are going to fix up the fraud in Social Security, which includes tens of millions, not hundreds of thousands, not millions, but tens of millions of dead people getting fraudulent Social Security payments. Take a listen.
He is now delivering on it. And I've been fighting fake news reporters all day long here in the Washington, D.C. swamp who are trying to fearmonger the American people into believing that this administration is going after their hard-earned tax dollars and their hard-earned Social Security checks. So I want to set the record straight on your show tonight, Sean, and I'm very grateful for the opportunity to do so. President Trump has directed Elon Musk and the Doge team to identify fraud at the Social Security Administration. They haven't dug into the books yet, but they suspect that there are tens of millions of deceased people who are receiving fraudulent Social Security payments.
Think about that number. Tens of millions of deceased people receiving Social Security payments. Let's explore that a little bit. So first of all, even though they love to present it as every federal agency has no way to detect fraud, the Social Security Administration has a bunch of systems to prevent exactly this, to prevent dead people from receiving payments. This includes cross-referencing death records at the state level from families from other federal agencies. When a beneficiary passes away, that death is typically reported either by a family member or a funeral home or a state agency. Benefits are stopped promptly. At the most, when it comes to the time of filing the last taxes for that individual and the box is checked, this is an individual who died during the tax year, this is being submitted by someone else, a representative, that triggers the end of Social Security payments. So we have all of those systems in place. Now, in 2022, the Social Security Administration reported an improper payment rate of 0.5%. Okay, that's everything in that. Included in improper payments would be payments to dead people. Now, at its absolute peak, it was believed to be in the tens of thousands. That includes people who might have received one payment after dying, and then the paperwork was processed and they didn't receive any more payments. Doesn't mean we don't care about this stuff. If you're not supposed to be receiving the money after you're dead, although of course there are survivorship benefits depending on the situation, but we're not talking about that. It's barely happening. Now, the other thing that's important to consider is that for those who get paper checks, which is increasingly few people, and this also applies to older years from which the data is taken, just because a check went out to a dead person doesn't mean that they deposited it. So the peak was theoretically tens of thousands of people. The systems have improved since then. Karoline Leavitt is on TV saying it's tens of millions of dead people that are getting Social Security money. The problem with all of this is that me fact checking it and us thinking through tens of millions, damn, that doesn't really make any sense. That doesn't do as much as the fact that Karoline Leavitt was on TV last night claiming that this is going on. And there's an aspect of this that's maybe just human nature, which is when they hear that from Karoline Leavitt and then they hear what I'm saying, people go, I don't know. I don't know who to believe. And of course, the fact that their government agencies, government officials, Karoline Leavitt, are so regularly and so obviously lying to them, it is a form of gaslighting. Now, meanwhile, the problems at the Social Security Administration continue. CNN reporting that the acting head of Social Security has now resigned because of conflicts with, you guessed it, Doge.
All right, we have some breaking news for you. The acting head of the Social Security Administration has resigned. Michelle King's departure comes after she refused to provide Doge staffers access to sensitive information. Your information. King had been with the department for 30 years. It's the latest act of resistance meant to slow cost-cutting moves by President Trump and Elon Musk. Doge had to go to court to gain access to Treasury payment systems, and it is fighting to enter a sensitive database in the IRS. All right, we have some breaking news.
So there you go. Things clearly not going swimmingly. And this is part of the plan. You and I might see this and we would say, oh, this is terrible, right? I mean, this Doge is upsetting people and creating so much conflict that officials are quitting. That's terrible. This is part of the plan. And we talked yesterday in my segment about the kind of real time in the public eye swing towards authoritarianism. Part of what they want to do is they want to make these public officials, these bureaucrats, miserable so that they do quit. And it seems to be happening.
Things are still expensive, that we know. But one thing that doesn't have to be is your hearing aids. Hearing aids are famously overpriced at brick and mortar hearing clinics, but our sponsor, MD Hearing, makes high quality, easy to use, rechargeable hearing aids with exceptional sound quality, personalized to your hearing profile and shipped right to your door. MD Hearing just made their Neo rechargeable digital hearing aids only $297 a pair, less than 10% the price of clinic hearing aids. MD Hearing was founded by an ENT surgeon who saw how many of his patients needed hearing aids but could not afford them, and made it his mission to develop a quality hearing accessible to anyone. I have a close family friend who uses hearing aids, and once I told her about MD Hearing, she gave him a try and has never used anything since. Loves the affordability, the quality, their expert staff who are available to help calibrate the device anytime she needs. Get the high quality, affordable hearing aids you deserve with MD Hearing. Go to shopmdhearing.com, use promo code PACMAN to get a pair of hearing aids for just $297 plus a free extra charging case. The link is in the description.